Okay, I missed two non-combat moves for Germany. He wanted me to rail an infantry, a mechanized infantry and an artillery from Normandy, Bordeaux to Germany, and he wanted me to move one tank from Germany to Slovakia, Hungary. We're doing all this via email, and I guess I just missed a couple of lines. My apologies, and I will make sure that this gets corrected. Okay, just at the beginning of Russia turn 3 here, there is a correction to make to the board. When I set this up, I got it a bit wrong. I double-checked the Sired Bloodbath rule map, and there is a change in IPC value to territory. Novgorod is actually only worth 2, but Ukraine is worth 3. Now, it's not going to make any difference at all to any of the money that Russia has earned over the course of the game, because neither of those two territories has changed hands. But I did want to make that note of a mistake on my part. So Ukraine is worth 3 IPCs, Novgorod is worth 2 IPCs. Just one last correction. This involves the United States. There is one other slight difference between the out-of-box game and the Bloodbath rules, and that is that the central United States, in addition to having a factory, also has an air base and a naval base. I was watching a video online the other day, and I saw somebody use the air base in central United States, and I'm like, wait a minute, it doesn't have one. But then I looked at the BBR setup, and it does. So just a heads up that that's there. I don't know if it'll ever come into play, but I've put it on the map to reflect what's supposed to be there. And this is the beginning of Russia's third turn. At the beginning of the round, the tech advancements were rolled. Russia got the worst possible roll. It got a 5, so it has to pay the most amount of money without actually getting its tech. But of course, it can start to roll for tech next turn. So that's $5. The other 32 of the $37 that it needs to spend, it's going to spend $8 on 2 artillery, $6 on a tank, and $18 on 6 infantry. Still no combat for Russia, but they do have a number of non-combat moves that they're going to make. First and foremost, these 4 infantry and 1 of the 2 anti-aircraft artillery are going to move south into the Baltic states from Novgorod. The 6 infantry from Ukraine, the 6 infantry from Ukraine are going to move forward into Bessarabia. And then there's going to be some railing from Russia. One of the artillery is going to be railed 3 spaces from Russia, 1, 2, 3 to Baltic states. The artillery and anti-aircraft artillery from Russia are going to be railed 1, 2, 3 spaces into Bessarabia. And then the Trans-Siberian Railroad is going to rail 1 artillery east out to Yakut, which is here. Now, speaking of that territory, there's going to be a tremendous amount of movement into that territory. All the forces from Buryatia are going to move back to Yakut, and all of the forces from Mongolia. So the infantry, the 2 infantry from Ulaanbaatar and Dazavan, and all of the cavalry from Olgi and Buyant-Uha are going to congregate in Yakut as well. So that's all the movement. Not a super complicated turn, but we'll tidy up the board and be back in a sec with placements. Okay, just a scoring note. It occurs to me that I think I've paid Russia too much at the end of turn 1 and at the end of turn 2, because I just kept giving them $37. I should have given them $35 at the end of turn 1, and I should have given them $33 at the end of turn 2. So in order to make up for the missing $6, I'm going to take away 2 of the 6 infantry that they purchased this turn, and that should even out the $6 for the rest of the game. My apologies, but I think that should fix things. So instead of having $37 to spend this turn, they only have 31, and the missing $6 are going to be 2 infantry fewer than what I said that they built at the beginning of the turn. Okay, here's the placements. In Novgorod, we're going to put 1 artillery, 1 tank, and 1 infantry. In Ukraine, we're going to put 1 artillery and 2 infantry. And in Russia, we were originally going to put 3 infantry, but because of that scoring error, there's only 1 more infantry to place, so that's going to go in Russia. So, let's check this time, because I screwed up last time. The Russian income is 33, because they've now lost $4 to the Japanese. So they're going to get $33 to put in their treasury. Still no bonuses, because again, those don't activate until they're at war with the European side, which should be coming pretty soon, I'm guessing. Okay, so let's do disposition of forces. Way up there in the corner in C-Zone 125, there's a submarine. In C-Zone 115, there's still a submarine and a cruiser. Well, let's get a better angle on this so we can see some of this stuff. In Vyborg, there's an infantry. In Karelia, there's an infantry. In Novgorod, there is an infantry, 3 mechanized infantry, 1 artillery, 1 tank, 1 anti-aircraft, 3 fighters, and 1 tactical bomber. In Baltic states, there is a tank. There are 3 artillery and 1 anti-aircraft artillery, and there are now, let's just count them up, 10, 15 infantry. So a considerable force taking shape there. In eastern Poland, there's an infantry. And in, whoops, just knocked it over. I'm just going to count these. In Bessarabia, there are now 5, 10, there are 13 infantry in Bessarabia, 2 mechanized infantry, 4 artillery, 2 tanks, and anti-aircraft artillery. In Ukraine, there are 2 infantry. Whoops, sorry, down here. In Ukraine, there are 2 infantry and 1 artillery. In Russia, there's 1 infantry. And all the way over in Yakut, there are 4 cavalry, 1 tank, 1 artillery, 2 anti-aircraft artillery, and let's get an accurate count here. Eight infantry. Okay, so that should be the Russian turn. Japan's up next. Sorry, I screwed up the math of that again. Because Japanese took Siberia round 1, but the Russians would already have been paid, so they would have got their full 37. They took Amur and Saka round 2, so the Russians would have already been paid. So the only error is Russia was not $6 overpaid, Russia was $2 overpaid. So I do have to give them back $4. So what I'm going to do, instead of giving them back $4, is I'm going to give them back $1 plus 1 of the infantry that they were going to build in Russia. So the final adjustment is that there should be 2 troops in Russia instead of 1, and the Russian money for this turn, instead of being 33, is now 34, because we'll say that they saved $1 from last turn. So the accounting now should be correct. My mistake, silly me, not following all the rules. Okay, that should be it though.